looks... yeah. It looks live. I think that's live. Hello, probably people who are maybe hearing this now. I don't know. Everything is functioning exactly as intended. NATO is working fine. The UN is working fine. Nothing is wrong in the Ukraine anymore. We resolved the whole Gaza issue. Everything's good.
My back hurts too much to swing at you with any ferocity, so I'm not gonna bother. Hello, everybody.
Also, I definitely thought that said Jello for a second. Jello!
I mean, that would be an excellent starting comment to make in anything. Just Jello.
Jello. So yes, we were in the middle of fighting Goldilocks over here.
No, I was in the middle of talking about the importance of Build-A-Bear workshops.
No. We did that when we were busy looking at stuffed bears with Saber.
Which, in all fairness, I genuinely got to have a wonderful conversation. Very reminiscent of last Sunday's chat about Build-A-Bear workshops with the kids at my school. One of my 5th graders, when we were talking and I was doing a circle to give everyone the chance to talk about their vacations, was showing off her new stuffed bunny that she got from Build-A-Bear. And every girl in the room, including the other adults that were in there, were so invested in the discussion of Build-A-Bear, and the boys were looking at us like, what the hell is wrong with literally all of you? It was kind of spectacular. I've not gotten anything from Bio. That's odd. Or is my phone just not alerting me because the app's open in the background? There it is!
Okay, what's the Artoria this week?
No Artoria, but kitty on a pizza box, kitty on a blanket.
It's because we ran out of Artorias.
Oh, kitty was about to get its head stuck in a railing. And kitty, doing what I'm presuming is yawning, but very much looks like it's about to try and eat the other kitty.
No, that's the face of murder right there.
Kitty sound asleep. Kitty on a, I think, blanket, not towel. Even though towel's what my brain was trying to fill in.
I assumed you were going to say treadmill.
No. Although there are cat treadmills, and I've occasionally debated getting one for Ivy, except with my luck, Jax would be the pet that tried to use it, and then it would break.
You just need to get a people treadmill.
I don't want a people treadmill.
Well, no, but you get it for the cat.
Yeah, but if I have a people treadmill, then I might feel obligated to actually use it, and nobody wants that.
Well, in that case, just think of it as a Jax treadmill.
Okay. So we were fighting Goldilocks, right?
No, we were talking about Build-A-Bear workshops.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the sword clinging against armor, that's Goldilocks fight, right?
Yeah. Archer hasn't even drawn his weapon yet. As Saber's sword strikes at him, he barely manages to defend his head with both hands. He simply doesn't have the skill to block Saber's attacks. Yeah, just put a name tag on the treadmill that's not yours. Saber's skill with the sword is vastly superior to his. True story, Saber, far outclasses this guy in terms of skill. He's just wildly overpowered. On top of that, her sword is invisible. Even if Archer draws his weapon, he won't be able to defend against that invisible blade. It strikes his armor relentlessly. The sword hits the armor, chipping away at it and sending sparks showering in all directions. The only thing the man can do is ward Saber's blows from his face with his hands.
I'm sorry, he's blocking Excalibur with his hand?
Uh-huh.
Dear God.
That's how strong this guy is. This isn't a fight. It's a massacre.
You mean, like, what essentially the fire in the park was? However the fuck many years ago that was. My brain keeps filling in 10, but I don't think that's right.
No, it was 10. Who would be able to defend against her invisible blade? That's impossible, Shira says, as if that hasn't already happened in this very route. What?
I do love the janky views it keeps giving us of things in this combat.
It's okay, if you tilt your head to the side, it looks upright.
I mean, Inu, you've got to remember that my thinking and considering face does involve me tilting my head to the side, so this does actually look right side up to me.
The funny thing is, when I do that, I'm getting a double image. Like, I'm getting... the chin is, like, moved down, like, 1/4 of an inch, so I'm seeing everything twice. In spite of the fury of Saber's attacks, Archer's armor remains intact. If he's still unscathed, even after such a savage assault, that golden armor must be his noble phantasm.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Shiro. He's had way too many unique weapons show up for weapon summoning to not be his noble phantasm, as far as I'm concerned. Unless he just somehow has access to literally all the weapons, in which case you're cheating!
I have said before, servants can have multiple noble phantasms. Saber has several. Like, invisible air, the thing that makes your sword invisible, that's a noble phantasm. Excaliblast, noble phantasm. So, you know, it's definitely possible for people to have multiple noble phantasms. Just one is sort of their called, I'm going to murder you now, noble phantasm. She does not have a limitless supply of magical energy, sir.
No, at least not in this Growl War.
She has a very limited supply of magical energy, actually. Archer raises his arm. But not towards Saber. He's just like, Teacher! Teacher, pick me!
I mean, that is what I'm picturing.
I have no idea what he's trying to do, but Archer just stretches his arm up into the empty night sky.
Miss Willow! Miss Willow! Oh my... Genuinely, by the end of any given week at work, I am so sick of the sound of my own name because of how often the kids yell it.
Miss Ashley, Miss Ashley.
You know that's not my name. I haven't had a kid accidentally call me Miss Ashley in... 6 or 7 years now. Because I've officially been with my company for 9 years now. Just probably about 5 years too many, but I'm working on that.
Well, work faster because 9 years is about when I got axed, so, you know. Just saying.
Look, with him gone, I'm hella nervous.
Am I hallucinating? Is this an illusion? He has something in his hand. It's a short sword, shaped like a key.
He has a keyblade?
Saber plants both feet, unleashing a much more powerful attack against Archer. Oh god, no! Oh no! Archer bats it aside with his dark red sword. This is literally the worst possible thing. Yeah, this is pretty bad. Saber puts some distance between herself and Archer, glaring at his sword.
I don't understand why everyone's freaking out so much.
The enemy wielding such a weapon is a threat, no question. but it also means he's showing his hand.
Oh, is this one of those instances of Willow didn't get enough good noodle points and we're about to have a really unfortunate ending?
No. Whether his noble phantasm is armor or a sword, we'll be able to figure out how to deal with it as long as we can see it. Saber readjusts her stance. Archer's already said his armor is at its limit. No, he said it was just creaking. He didn't say it was in trouble. If Saber can go back on the offensive with the same fury as before, she should be able to cut through his armor. Even if he pulls out his noble phantasm now, the next blow will decide the match.
最後だ。前回つけられなかった決着をつけよう、アーチャー。
The sword in her hand is still invisible.
Okay, Artoria, one note. Kiritsugu could actually give you energy. You weren't nerfed the last time you guys had this fight. Just saying. This probably isn't gonna go as well as you think it is.
She readies her sacred sword, still bound up in swirling wind, and faces her enemy. Saber seems to know what that noble phantasm is.
Ow, ow. I shifted to try and get my legs in a more comfortable position for my knee, and my back hit the arm of the couch.
Would it help if I punched you in the knee to redirect the pain elsewhere?
No, I'll be fine. I just need to breathe for a minute.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Your knee is within striking range. I can just...
Please don't.
Okay. You're sure?
Ow.
Like 100% positive.
Oh.
Want some Tylenol?
No, I took something earlier at the house, and I think I'm still within that window where I'm not supposed to take anything. And that tells you how bad it is that I voluntarily took something for it.
Want some alcohol?
Like you have any of that in your house.
I do have some 90% isopropyl somewhere.
No.
For disinfecting things.
How do you know, Bio? I could just be a jukebox.
Well, see, here's
There's no proof I'm real. I mean, I do exist, but...
Here's the thing, Bio. Back in high school, I proved pretty definitively with a friend of mine that if something is hurting and you just punch them really hard somewhere else, that thing that was hurting isn't gonna hurt anymore. I had them tell me, it was like, oh man, my arm really hurts. I just punched him full force in the knee. He's like, ah, my knee. Is like, does your arm hurt anymore? No! Good! I fixed the problem. Yeah, but now my knee hurts. It socked him in the arm. Eventually, the pain stopped. Weird how that works, huh?
So the reason I'm in a ridiculous amount of pain at the moment is yesterday morning when my cat decided at 4:30 in the morning that she wanted her breakfast, and I had to go downstairs to feed her and my dog. I didn't turn on the lights on the stairs because I didn't want the light to wake me to like fully wake me up, and I could see well enough to see where my cat was because she practically glows in the dark on her white spots on her fur, and she went to run under my foot. I tried to adjust, ended up slipping, falling down probably the last 4 or 5 stairs. My back hitting the flats on the stair for each stair I went down past, and my knee slamming into the floor at the bottom. So I'm in a lot of pain at the moment. There's a gigantic bruise across the midsection of my back, and my left knee is purple, like pretty thoroughly purple.
It's also within striking range. She put that distance between them because she knows how to deal with it. She's readying herself to face Archer directly. Damn you, bend over. Damn you and your stupid stairs. Each of them wields a sword, and if their powers are equal, then it's a matter of the wielder's skill. Yeah, but you're assuming that their powers are equal, and that should mean Saber will win. Please note, they have not bothered to draw the sword he's ostensibly holding here. The man laughs. Saber charges without hesitation. Her sword will cleave through his armor.
That's a thought.
The very instant I think that. The man has stopped fucking around. Unleash the gob. Does that help you at all? Does giving you Gate of Babylon help?
Unfortunately not. Really? Most of the Babylonian legends I know are female, and I don't think they've gender bent any of them.
They have not. Does giving you Gate of Babylon in association with having given immortality to a snake, which they told us last time, help? Because
I mean,
if you know, you know, and you should already know. So you know.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure you just don't know.
There is another figure I'd associate with Babylon loosely, who's Mal. But to be perfectly candid, I don't know their mythology or their mythos particularly well because I just don't give a damn. So, I mean, I could guess it's Gilgamesh, but I don't... Like, that's genuinely just based off nothing other than association with a location rather than actual knowledge of the hero themselves. Because I can't associate them with snakes, because, again, I know nothing. And that's literally just me throwing out a name.
Did you not have to read the Epic of Gilgamesh at any point?
Nope.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, no. That's literally just... It's a name I've seen pop up in some of my other reading on other figures. And I know the Epic of Gilgamesh is a thing that exists. But no, I've not read it. Never, not once. But...
It's a really fascinating read, actually.
To be fair, that was a name I'd been considering last week, but only because I've heard you, Sergeant L, yell at your phones regarding Gilgamesh a number of times, too, over the course of you guys playing EFCO. So...
Well, maybe it would help to tell you that Gilgamesh is a caster in EFCO.
Really?
Yeah.
How many other classes are they?
One.
I know that smirk. The other class is Archer, isn't it?
He does have an Archer class, yes.
But...
An invisible door opens behind the man. The sad thing is, Saber knows who this guy is already, and she should be shitting herself, and for some reason still thinks she has a chance.
Wait, so Saber full on knows who he is.
Oh, from the time he mentioned that he gave immortality to a snake,
right, sorry.
Saber figured it out right then and there.
That's right, sorry.
Because Grail knowledge.
I completely forgot that she freaked the fuck out over that line last week.
Yeah.
I knew that. For whatever reason, I was thinking, oh, she found out in the last war, but
She really should have found out in the last war, and frankly, it's miraculous that she didn't. Because I'm pretty sure Iskander found out.
I was about to say, I think you said last week that Iskander knew who Archer was.
The only one who found out in the last war was Iskander. Yeah. Saber jerks to one side. Archer holds something else in his hand now. Not the black and red sword. It's an invisible sword, like Saber's. By the time Saber deflects it, Archer already has a different sword.
Okay, I may not like Archer's personality, but I really like Archer.
This dude is so fucking cool, man.
He may be a misogynistic dick on worse levels than Shiro, but I kind of like what he's capable of doing.
Also, a reminder, you shipped him with Artoria, so...
Aesthetically, yes. Personality-wise, no. But honestly, the number of times I've compromised my integrity in video games because characters are pretty.
Asterion.
No, actually, I've not done a Baldur's Gate playthrough where I romanced Astarion yet. Although, I love his voice actor, and his voice actor's glee for that character is spectacular. The number of times he's done like D&D panels or things, or D&D play events where he's literally just come in character as Astarion is spectacular. But no, I've not romanced him. Mostly because I like my moody warlock and my boot-eating wizard too much. But
Will is just a dumbass. Like,
yes, but
my god, is he stupid.
But he's so sweet.
Yeah, but he basically got his dad killed because he's a fucking idiot.
You don't always have to have his dad die.
No, but, like, the entire situation his dad is in is because Will is a dumbass who let Mizora, like, riz him into doing stupid shit and then selling his soul to her for a situation she created in the first place.
I mean, yes, but...
Dude is a fucking moron.
But I'm just saying, like, he's such a sweetheart, and the romance scenes with him are just really, really sweet. It's probably, in my opinion, the actual most, like, stereotypically romantic of the romances you can have with the male characters in game. Because Gal has serious issues resulting from his last breakup, and Astarion's kind of a monster, but...
So, chat, in the meanwhile, has been agreeing that, most people love this jackass, and he's great, and that also most people in the fandom are of the opinion that he's such a dick, but he's also really cool. So yeah, he's basically just Kotomine 2, where he's, like, kind of the worst person you can possibly think of, but he's just so charismatic that you don't give a shit. His swords strike at her in a merciless rain of ice shards. Okay, so we now have gave immortality to a snake, Gate of Babylon, has an invisible sword, can attack people with ice, and also has Gay Bolg and like 4 other noble phantasms that we've seen so far. Is this helpful?
No.
Okay, cool. Just thought I'd touch base.
Again, it gun to my head, if I had to guess, I'd probably guess Gil, but again, I know nothing about him. I've not read the epic. It's literally just names my brain associates with FGO because of the number of times I've heard you, Sergeant L, swear at your phones. So,
to be fair, half the time we were doing that, we might have been talking about Gil, the person, not Gil,
that's
the
also
character
fair.
from Grand Order.
But
so,
but again, like I said, that's where my brain is at because I don't know enough about
You haven't read up on your Sumerian and Babylonian legends.
At least not the men of those epics or those periods. So it's not particularly helpful, no.
Saber twists away to dodge, but the air around her becomes almost solid with flying blades. She's driven back as the blades close in on her from all sides. As the shards clinging to Saber vanish, her enemy holds a deadly-looking weapon that resembles the Grim Reaper's scythe.
And I'd briefly debated Googling the epic last week and didn't, like a good girl.
You should have asked me. I think I have a copy of it somewhere.
Purely because I knew that if I searched that in the top image section, if I'd been right, Goldie would have shown up. Because that's what happens when you search Heracles. Like, the second or third image on Google is Berserker. Or it was the last time I'd been Googling.
Let me see.
They were certainly in the top bit of search results.
Oops. Was it Heracles specifically or Hercules?
Heracles.
Statue, painting, statue, 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 statue.
I swear it...
Statues, more paintings. There we go.
I was about to say, he's in there somewhere. It might just be my algorithm being
It took a
screwy,
while.
But it didn't take you that long. It took, what, maybe 10 images with the scrolling?
Yeah, but if I put in Hercules, I get immediately Disney.
Well, yes. That's why you have to search Heracles, not Hercules.
Now, how long do I have to scroll down in Hercules before I get to Fate Herc?
I would hope you wouldn't, because I'd hope that the fans in that franchise would respect the actual spelling of the name of the hero they're referencing, but...
Well, I'm definitely on at least the second page by now, and it's not here, so...
Apparently, it's the same sort of deal for Astolfo, according to people in chat, that
Oops.
that character's significantly more popular than their mystical counterpart.
Well, the difference is, right? Heracles, you had to scroll down. Astolfo, it's all Astolfo. Every image result is Astolfo. All of them. Literally every single one until Fire Emblem. They're all Astolfo until we get to this guy called Astolfo from Fire Emblem.
And then it goes back.
And then finally we get to the Paladin of Charlemagne. It's all Astolfo. Everything is Astolfo.
Ow. Ow, okay, laughing hurts.
Now, I do need to be very clear. That's a dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, historically, cross-dressing's always been a thing men have done.
Remember Bakatest? Remember Hideyoshi?
Yep.
Astolfo gets his own bathrooms.
Okay, he's got a scythe now.
Good. So I will point out, just for the sake of giggles, I went and searched Goldie's name, and it does take, like 12 images for the Grand Order stroke, like, Stay Night one to show up.
Yeah, but then how much of it is just that after after you get through whatever, like, classic marble architecture and or sketch? Like, how much of it after that is just...
Maybe, like, somewhere in the range of, like, overall, like, 15 to 20%, maybe?
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, no, it's actually mostly other stuff. On account of, you know, who he is. Saber blocks the weapon arcing for her neck with a gauntlet. But it's useless. The scythe shears through her gauntlet like it's made of tissue paper and begins to drain her magical energy.
Oof.
It's as if it's trying to pull out her bones rather than her blood or flesh. Saber stumbles, but she manages to keep it together. But her retreat takes on a different note. She's not distancing herself to prepare for her next attack. She's desperately fleeing the enemy.
そんなバカな。
Saber glares at Archer as she passes magical energy through her numbed arm. A halo of hilts floats around Archer. Those are the swords that slaughtered Castor. His noble phantasm. Now it's backing Saber into a corner. Even I, looking on from a distance, can't believe what I'm seeing. Artoria sure does just have the worst luck with fighting people who happen to have weapons that ignore magical armor. She's certainly got a theory at the moment, but even I.
I mean, you call it a theory, but it's literally just a blind guess.
That's true. Yeah.
Not a theory. I have no logic behind it.
All those hilts floating behind him are definitely his noble phantasm.
You've said that about 5 times, about different things over the course of this fight, Shiro.
His armor is definitely his noble phantasm. All those noble phantasms are definitely his noble phantasm. That weird key sword that was red and black that he was holding earlier,
Definitely his noble phantasm. No, wait, it's the scythe.
No, definitely the scythe, 100%. Or that invisible sword that he attacks Saber with. Or the ice. Possibly the ice. Or Gay Bulg. Or that weird Chinese weapon that they didn't give a name to. Not 10. Not 20. I can't see them all. But I can tell there's no end to them. They're all from different times and places. That servant has all the divine mysteries that have ever been mentioned in various legends and lore.
Okay, that's oddly vindicating. Because I did say that one of my theories for how he has access to a ridiculous number of things is just that he has access to all the things. And I don't know whether my logic of just like first hero to the Hall of Heroes growly business is accurate. But
outside of time. That one doesn't really line up.
But this does seem to confirm that I'm right, that he seems to have access to pretty much all the things. Which is oddly comforting.
あーちゃん、あなたは何者
I
だ
thought you said she figured him out.
Oh, see, the thing is, I think she has,
But she's refusing to believe it.
yeah, it's one of those things where, like, she knows, but it's like, she just doesn't want to be right. Saber's voice trembles.
I do love that Bio's basically a chat moderator on this. Because his last post is, again, to be perfectly clear, regardless of Willow being close or not, don't say shit about if it's correct or not. Don't worry, Bio. Generally speaking, when I'm just spouting off theory, the only comments I tend to read out of fear that someone will tell me I'm right about something is I generally only read you when I'm speculating wildly. Don't worry.
Yeah, for Artoria, it's too ridiculous for her to want it to be true. Because if she is, then they are screwed. Yeah. No servant would ever reveal their true name just because someone asked. You want to bet?
I mean...
Didn't Kojiro do that very thing?
Also, by that same logic, generally a master wouldn't just give away their servant's name because someone asked, but Ilya volunteered Zerker.
Yeah, well, that's because she thought Zerker was invincible.
Well, yeah, but are you telling me Blondie here doesn't think he's invincible?
No, Blondie here doesn't think he's invincible. He knows he's invincible. But Archer's noble phantasm is so bizarre, Saber couldn't help but ask.
答えなさいアーチャー。英霊が持つ宝具は一つだけのはず。
Lies.
いいえ、中には複数の宝具を持っている者
How
もい
many
ま
do
す
you
が、
have exactly,
だ
Saber?
としても2つが
At the
限度だ。
moment, 2.
その
The
ように
invisible air
際限なく宝
and
具を持つ英霊
Excalibur.
など存在するはずがない。
存在するはずがない。それは早計だな、セイバー。英霊は生前持ち得た武器を宝具とする。ならば単純な話ではないか。この宝具はすべて俺が生前に集めたものということではないか。
Also, Artoria did literally almost reveal her own name just because someone else told her who she was first. Yeah. Kotaro had to stop her from telling him who she was. Reminder.
Okay, are you some sort of almost Artoria mirror in that you're also not actually dead yet?
Oh no, this dude was definitely very dead.
Then how's he collected all of the things?
Don't worry, all will be explained.
Okay. So, my current working theory then, because I'm refusing to accept that my other working theories aren't in some way, shape, or form at least somewhat accurate. I'm just shifting them as new informations. Listen, I'm the queen of confirmation bias. But then maybe my current explanation for him is just that he's somehow an exception to the you don't remember shit between Grail Wars, and he's categorizing alive as just noble phantasms he's encountered in previous Grail Wars.
It's a theory, I think to the point of what we know in the Nasuverse. We can account for 3 Grail Wars that he has, well, technically 4, maybe 5, but 2 in Fuyuki, 4th and 5th.
Right?
1 in America as part of the Grail War in Fate Strange Fake. And either 1 or 2 I don't remember in the prototype timeline where Male Arthur is from. Although 2 of those are in separate universes to the main universe.
Right.
So, he definitely still has memories from the 4th Grail War. That's very true.
Yeah. I'm just thinking...
Oh, sorry, I forgot about the Moon Cell. There's also the Moon Cell.
So here's my current thinking. Because these streams are nothing but Willow going, here's what I think, only to then be frustrated when she's wrong. Is... mentally what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to justify how he knows all these things. And I do still think that there's something to be said for, like, oh, these are noble phantasms I've encountered and somehow remember. Because if he's counting his times out during the Grail Wars as alive. But that also begs the question of what he considers being, quote-unquote, alive. Because I'm wondering as Inu has said many times over the course of this stream, that all of the rules in the universe are set in stone until they're not. I'm wondering if the case of servants don't remember anything following the end of a Grail War when they go when they're destroyed or they go back after the war ends. I'm wondering if that being a rule is true until it's not with him, and therefore he just remembers things from just sort of casually walking around in Grail space where he's encountered people and their noble phantasms and just accumulated them all as a result, because if he constitutes that as quote-unquote alive. But that feels like a stretch even for me.
Bio, just in total fairness to your idea, Willow, as we've established numerous times already, the rules of the Grail War are absolutely concrete and set in stone. Until they aren't.
Well, right. That's where I'm currently at. Is I've got 3 or 4 working theories about how he's whoever the fuck he is.
What I will say is that he
Am I
has
at least
been,
close on any of
what
them?
I will say is that he has been 100% honest so far.
Okay.
Everything he has said has been accurate and true.
So you don't have to tell me about any particular, like, which theory, but are any of my current voiced speculations, disregarding his identity, but, like, have any of my speculations about how he functions been correct-ish?
You're in the ballpark on some of them.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
私を侮っているのかアーチャー。それこそ絶対にありえない。
And Saber's like, the fuck do you mean you had all of these? That's bullcrap.
あなたが何者であろうと、他の英霊たちのシンボルたる宝具を揃えられるはずがない。そのような英霊はこの世界に存在
Except
しない。
clearly he does the saber.
Saber's right.
I mean, I suppose he could be the personification of the Grail, but that also doesn't feel...
All the noble phantasms he
Correct.
has are... Well, we do get to see an actual personification of the Grail in Carnival Phantasm. It's a sentient rice cooker. I'm not kidding. That's a legitimate thing.
Sorry. I think I had a stroke. Could you run that by me again?
Right, so Carnival Phantasm is a comedy crossover series between Tsukihime and Fate.
Uh-huh.
And we get to meet, in the course of Carnival Phantasm, a personification of the Grail,
Uh-huh.
which is a sentient rice cooker.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Moving on.
There are demonic swords from Northern Europe and even from South America. No hero ever made a name for themselves in so many regions. Besides, Lancer should be the only one with gay bulk. Heroic spirits have their favorite weapon they use during their life as their noble phantasm. Based on that rule, the only one who could have gay bulk is Kukulin. But Archer isn't Kukulin. And that means his spear can't be gay bulk. But the thing is, it definitely is the real gay bulk. If those noble phantasms were all fake, that would explain it. But they're real. So that's just... No. Wait.
Please don't tell me I'm about to agree with Shiro fucking Emiya about something. Please tell me I'm not about to agree with Shiro on something.
Well, you already have, because you agreed with Archer on some stuff.
Listen.
Got him!
Technically speaking, even though I figured that one out, the game never told us that. I can still put some cognitive distance between the two of them. Please don't tell me I'm about to agree with dumbass Shiro fucking Emiya. Why are you smiling? God damn it! Not enjoying my pain.
Shiro of all people would know what is and isn't a real gay bulk. He did get stabbed to death with it once. Almost twice. Could they all be originals? The weapons prototypes? It might be possible. Legend and myth don't spring up from nothing. Plenty of myths share commonalities because someone or something served as the model for them. Yeah, it's like Siegfried and Sigurd, which within the confines of like Grand Order, they're two separate Saber class servants, but they're really the same legend, basically. Legends which get to the point of becoming the basis of worship usually only take root in the lands where they're said to take place. That's one of the reasons demonic swords and sacred swords reveal their true abilities in the lands they come from. So let's say there's something from before even that. What if the various noble phantasms in mythology existed before they were known and named?
Oh, お前のマスターも捨てたものではないな。どうやら俺の正体に心当たりがあるらしい。
I'm sorry, Archer. You are incorrect. Her master is entirely useless. Just because he has a couple of brain cells that, in this one instance, might be working better than mine.
Okay. Someone also points out, in addition to, Ku, Skahawk also gets to have gay bulk, because she kind of made it to begin with. And also she had two of them, at least. If you're talking about Assassin Skahawk, she had like 1,000 of them, but, anyway. Saber turns to face me. She's so far away. Hi, Saber! I can't help her from so far away.
Also, why does this park have football stadium lighting?
So that you can see.
That seems excessive for a public park. That's gotta be a light pollution nightmare.
Well, look how much concrete there is. I've finally gotten to the point where I can move, even if it's still difficult. In fairness to Shiro, weapons are literally the thing that Shiro is actually incredibly knowledgeable about because his magic element is sword. So this shit is basically his expertise. Yeah, true story.
本物だというのだろう。そう、単純な話だ、セイバー。
He is so... Look at him, he's so smug!
He is, he's so smug. It's great. I love this dude.
最も古い時代、まだ世界が一つだった頃の話をしよう。その国は栄え、王はあらゆる財宝を収集した。集められぬものなどなく、足りぬものなどなかった。王は完璧な宝物庫を持ち、その中にある有象無象の武器は使われることなく王と共に眠りについた。要はそれだけの話だ。王の死後、宝物庫の中身は世界に散らばり、名剣であるがゆえに重宝され活躍し、いずれ宝具として扱われた。わかるか、騎士王よ。お前たちの扱う宝具とやらは、もともとはその王の持ち物に過ぎないのだと。
This dude is just straight up telling her that every noble phantasm used by every servant across history are his hand-me-downs.
Well, that does align with my, proto-servant theory for him. like, precursor to all the others. At least chronologically. If not in terms of being the first one in the Hall of Heroes, but...
It's like an inheritance. As long as you trace an object's history, a base or prototype will always exist. It only makes sense that every legend, myth, or noble phantasm passed down in each country has an original. Far enough back into the past, if one person collected all those prototypes, they could possess every noble phantasm. And that could only be one hero. A hero from the oldest of legends, far older than the legend of King Arthur or Heracles, the tyrant who ruled ancient Mesopotamia. A king who was half god, half human, who collected all the world's treasures, and who eventually sought eternal youth. And then gave it to a snake.
人類最後の英雄王
The very first hero of human history.
Okay.
The king of heroes.
So my blind guess, based purely off of the number of times I've heard you all swear at your phones, was correct. Still doesn't help. I know nothing about Gilgamesh, but...
So, Gil, he was basically the king of everything, because Mesopotamia was the only civilization, right?
Right.
So he was king of literally the entire planet. He had a giant treasury full of literally everything. Everything in the world was his, which is why he also believes that Saber is already his, because he owns everything. Therefore, he owns her. And then he just wanted to go get immortality. So he went and found the immortality. And then he gave it to a snake.
Why?
There was some backstory involving Enkidu, who was like a friend stroke check on his power from the gods, stroke homosexual lover, stroke chain. His and Enkidu's relationship was kind of weird. Anyway, there was some shit with that, and then he gave immortality to a snake and didn't get it for himself. I mean, he had the stuff to do that, but then he gave it to a snake.
That seems like a colossal waste.
Yeah, kinda. Saber sounds like she's trying to keep the fear from her voice. Gilgamesh, however, relishes her reaction.
いかにもこの身は貴様らでは叶うべくもない最強の英霊だ
I saw that little thing. I love that he's just down here.
Oh yeah.
Separate from, the 7 proper ones.
Oh yeah.
He's just all the way down here.
Yep. Heroic spirit Gilgamesh. Male, chaotic good.
Chaotic good feels like a stretch.
No. He's like the definition of good.
I'd believe lawful neutral.
No, chaotic good.
That feels very incorrect to me.
Part man, part god, he's a king who united Uruk, a city-state of Samaria before the Common Era. A ruler not just of legend, but who is also believed to have actually existed. He's written about in one of mankind's oldest epic poems, the Epic of Gilgamesh. A 2/3 divine and 1/3 human demigod, he's a peerless sovereign of the world, and a supreme being who has obtained everything in existence. Initially, he was a tyrant who thought little of his citizens, but his behavior gradually changed after befriending Enkidu. Enkidu was a divine creation made by the goddess, I think that's Auru, but I can't read it fully from here.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Response to the prayers of the people suffering under Gilgamesh's oppressive rule. Enkidu and Gilgamesh were destined to meet, and they affected one another greatly. At first, Gil feared and viewed Enkidu as an enemy, but the two soon formed a mutual bond and later worked as equals to govern the nation. The two of them also defeated the guardian of the forest, the divine beast Humaba, and Gilgamesh would eventually go on to be known as the greatest king on earth, taking possession of every fortune known to man. At this point, Gilgamesh was a dazzling and powerful being that even the gods couldn't ignore. A goddess fell in love with Gilgamesh. The goddess of fertility, Ishtar, proposed marriage to the perfect king, but Gilgamesh bluntly refused the goddess's proposal. He did so because he knew...
He knew Ishtar was a capricious and brutal witch who ruined men's lives. An angry Ishtar claimed Gilgamesh insulted her and sent her father Anu's bull of heaven to earth as retaliation. This
Fucking Google Lana.
The unleashing of this unbeatable divine beast caused 7 years of famine and destruction. Gilgamesh and what's the pronunciation on that?
Gilgamesh and Enkidu worked together to confront the Bull of Heaven and successfully defeat it, further tarnishing the goddess's reputation. Ishtar's anger could not be quelled, so the goddess awakened the gods asked the gods for the death of either Gilgamesh or Enkidu, reasoning that a human killing a divine beast is a punishable sin. Ishtar's wishes were heard, and Enkidu slowly wasted away until they died, as they were a creation of the gods and unable to resist their orders. Yes. This was the start of Gilgamesh's downfall. He was so shocked to find that his friend, the only one who could match him in power, was just as capable of death. Gilgamesh was haunted by the fear of his doom, and so he set out on a journey to the underworld in search of immortality. After an arduous trek, Gilgamesh obtained the elixir of immortality. However, as he bathed en route home, a snake drank the elixir, and Gilgamesh was left to die in despair. Rip. It's said that the snakes are reborn into a new body each time they shed their skin because one drank Gilgamesh's elixir. Humanity's oldest king of heroes, Gilgamesh, tells of his clash with the gods, his journey to seek immortality, and a great flood over the world. Everything in his epic became the archetype and basis for all mythology. His name may not be as recognizable as Arthur or Heracles, but this comparatively nameless figure is the oldest hero king. His overwhelming power truly makes him the strongest heroic spirit.
Let's see. Surprisingly easier to read on my phone when I turn my phone sideways.
Yes, it is.
It's still a little squinty to read, but much easier to read than trying to squint at that.
Yeah. When that TV eventually dies, I'm gonna get something larger. I don't know how much larger. I mean, anything I get this larger, I'll have to take out of the entertainment center and like mount on the wall or something. But
Well, yeah.
he has magic resistance E, independent action rank A+, charisma rank A+, divinity rank B, brackets A+. Oh yeah, so he has the aptitude for A+ rank divinity, but because he just has butthurt towards the gods, it's actually, he's nerfing himself down to a B. And then, Gate of Babylon, Treasury of the King. A key-shaped sword that connects to the Golden Capital. It bridges space and allows the user to freely take any treasure from the vault. Though it need not be said, the more treasures that are gathered, the greater the power of this noble phantasm.
So, what begs an interesting question. At one point in the fight thus far,
Uh-huh.
Shiro had narrated that he seemed to be using an invisible weapon.
Uh-huh.
Was he literally just using Excalibur to taunt the crap out of Artoria?
Yeah. Gilgamesh is a dick.
So yes.
Gil is a dick, is the thing.
And what's funny is I'd been wondering about that when he'd said it. Which, to be fair, because I'd already sort of theorized that he had all of the noble phantasms. That didn't necessarily surprise me.
It's not so much that he has all of the noble phantasms as that everyone else has his weapons. And they made them famous. But they were his first. Like, he had so many of them that basically none of them were noteworthy. It was only when they left his possession that they became cool enough on their own to generate their own legends. Although, yeah, technically, no, Gil doesn't actually have Excalibur, because Excalibur was literally, like, born of the planet as a result of some fairy bullshit. So he doesn't have Excalibur, but he pretty much
More or less has Excalibur.
He pretty much has a prototype of Excalibur.
So he literally was. That's what I thought was happening, but he literally was just taunting Artoria.
Yeah, Faye did it, exactly. It was the fairies. And also, the invisible air that's making Excalibur invisible is a separate thing from Excalibur, and he does have that. So, you know, fun story. There's nothing else to discuss. All that's left now is for him to use his endless noble phantasms to annihilate his enemy. Get fucked.
我の名を知った上でまだ抗うか今度こそ勝ち目がないと悟ったはずだが
やってみなければわかりません
You were just retreating.
Yeah, but she wasn't ready to Excaliblast back then.
いかに英雄王といえど超えられぬものがあるはずだ
The air around Saber wavers. No, he's not here yet. The wind envelops her as it picks up, becoming a whirlwind to protect her. As it does, her golden sword is revealed. I don't believe this. Does Saber intend to use Excalibur? Gilgamesh stops. He must know how powerful Saber's sacred sword is, because his self-assured composure falters. Saber glances toward me briefly, but her focus is on Gilgamesh now. Is she telling me to run away while I have the opportunity? Gilgamesh's back is to the river, while Saber is over here with me. This positioning must be the result of our shuffling around earlier. Before I realize what's happening, Saber is facing Gilgamesh, protecting me. I try to force myself to move. And with all the strength I can muster in my numbed body, all I can manage is lifting a single arm. I use every bit of magical energy in my body to use that arm to push myself up. I've lost all sensation, but every bone in my body creaks as I begin moving. The pain is a warning. My body is coming apart at the seams, and if I move, that'll be it. I push myself to my feet, ignoring the warning. I try to endure the pain. I don't have time for it. What I need to do is get to my feet as fast as I can and protect Saber. I have a really, really bad feeling about this. It's the same premonition I felt when I faced Gilgamesh myself. We can't beat him, no matter what. My instincts keep telling me that I just can't let Saber fight him.
音に聞こえし正義か。いいだろう。
The swirling wind has become a raging vortex. Even in the face of that dazzling sword, Gilgamesh is unintimidated. On top of that,
では、こちらもふさわしいものを出さなければな。
he draws a strange sword from the gate behind him. Oh, fuck. That's where my premonition came from. The sword he has now doesn't exist in any legend. I can identify every one of the noble phantasms floating behind him, but I have no idea about that thing.
俺は全ての宝具の原型を持つ。だがそれらは全て無名であり、俺しか持ち得ぬ武具というわけではない。
Ah, yes! Gate of Babylon! Truly, that is Gilgamesh's noble phantasm!
Or according to bio, and there is the
Get fucked stick! Yep! The sword itself is cylindrical.
Which technically doesn't that make it more of a, like, lance?
Nope. It basically just doesn't have a classification as a weapon, really.
Or like a jousting...
No, it's far too short
thing.
for that.
Bio got corrected. This is apparently the you're already dead weapon.
It consists of 3 segments, each rotating in different directions. It looks like a drill, capable of piercing solid... Taking every fiber of my being to not say heavens. Bedrock.
だがこれは違う。正真正銘、この英雄王しか持ち得ぬ剣だ。
In other words, this is my noble phantasm. This is my one.
俺はエアとだけ呼んでいる。
No? Audio?
Nope. Cable fell out. Yeah. Oh, Saber, you're so fucked. You have no idea how fucked you are. Light flashes off their weapons. The 2 of them are still about 10 meters apart. Gilgamesh can't possibly avoid her attacks from that distance.
そう。遠慮することはないぞ。最強と呼ばれるその剣。一度味わってみたくもあったから。
Saber, do not try to have a dick measuring contest with the King of Heroes! His laughter echoes in the space between them. Saber must have taken that as a provocation. Like, this dude is so strong, he can put Hercules down without a fight. The dude can just no-sell Herc. That's how strong this guy is.
いいだろう。ならば我が剣、見事受け切ってみるがいい。
Saber moves. Her lips form the sword's true name. There's nowhere to run now. The noble phantasm, released when its wielder speaks its name, strikes mercilessly at Gilgamesh.
出番起きるがいい。エア。
The cylindrical sword roars. In response to Gil's words, the three segments whirl faster. If Saber's Excalibur summons a whirlwind by driving wind away, Gilgamesh's Ea creates a gale by drawing in wind. But Saber is more experienced with handling her anti-fortress noble phantasm. Aw, that's cute. You have an anti-fortress noble phantasm. It's faster than Ea. Saber pours as much magical energy as she possibly can into her weapon in seconds, igniting its massive power. Gil is quite literally one of the single strongest servants, period. If you think you have a shot at defeating him, then you're already dead. Yeah, she doesn't hesitate. Saber unleashes the might of a sacred sword so powerful it could split a river in two. At the same moment...
Wait. Does that technically mean that, like, if you were trying to catalyst summon a hero, and you think you're gonna get, like, I don't know, Joan of Arc, you could accidentally Gilgamesh, because pretty much all the weapons were his in the first place?
They're not associated with him, is the thing, so probably not.
I just like to think, theoretically, you could be trying for someone completely different and get Blondie instead. Because isn't it the thing that the Tosakas trip and fuck up at the last possible second and everything? I'd like to imagine that Reen's dad didn't actually want Gilgamesh. He wanted someone completely different, and accidentally Gil instead.
Oh no, he totally got Gil intentionally. At the same moment.
Does that mean that theoretically somewhere in Reen's house is a catalyst for Gil?
I don't remember what happened to it after the summary, so maybe not.
But also at the same time, possibly yes.
And also Enuma Elish. Time to get fucked. A light of matching intensity flares to meet Excalibur's attack.
So, Priori and Katatam?
The issue here is Excalibur's anti-fortress. Enuma Elish is anti-world.
Well, that's a fun image.
Also, I'm pretty sure, I feel like that was not in the original. The impact is tremendous. Actually, I realized, because I went back and looked, I was trying to find the lighthouse thing in where we were last week, and I couldn't. But I did discover, in doing that, I thought when we were on the bus, I was like, I don't remember this, like, CG of Saber on the bus. And that's because it wasn't in the original.
Ow.
That was added for Rialta Nua.
Every time I shift.
You should probably stop doing that then. Raging wind tears trees from the ground. The colliding lights are like an exploding sun, blinding me.
I read blinding is behind, so it was an exploding sun behind him.
I'm on the verge of being carried off by the wind. I cling to the ground with my one functioning arm. It's all I can do to weather the storm of wind, light, and heat. Yeah, and NPs like Aya need the world to have special bullshit so they don't literally destroy the planet every time they're used. Yeah. You don't learn it for a very, very long time, but the extent to which Aya here is capable when Gilgamesh isn't holding back just to be a dick is truly and unfathomably ridiculous.
Oh, I've apparently been missing posts in chat. My phone swapped itself back from all messages to top messages at some point.
How long will this go on? Their overwhelming attacks are so powerful, I feel they might split the world in two. But then!
That yawn made me move too much.
It suddenly ends with Saber surrounded by white light.
So, game over, new stream next week.
A crash breaks the unexpected silence.
Oh, wait. Wait. Weapons? No.
It's not in there.
No.
It's not in there.
Boo! Well, something updated.
It's probably adding Enuma Elish to Noble Phantasms for Gil. Yeah, there it is. Enuma Elish, star of creation that divided heaven and earth. Ea, the sword of rupture, the blade that can sever space itself. A rift created by compressed and clashing winds becomes an artificial
Fault line that divides space-time, annihilating everything that stands against it. There's no way to defend against the destructive power unless the target has an anti-purge AC or an attack powerful enough to cancel it out. The damage value is strength times 20, but the MGI value can be randomly added to strength. Its maximum damage is approximately 4,000. However, the damage increases exponentially with when Noble Phantasms from the Treasury are used as backup. It is a sword with the power to sever the world, which makes it equal to or even more powerful than Saber's Excalibur.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty fucking bullshit. A crash breaks the unexpected silence. Something thuds into the ground beside me. I know what it is. Even half blind, I couldn't mistake what I'm seeing. She looks dead. She's a bloody mess. In the distance, the Golden Knight, completely unscathed, laughs like a madman. Funny thing is that these servant stats basically catalog themselves based on the individual master, which means Shiro must secretly be a huge D&D nerd.
人類最強の聖剣とやらもその程度か。人間の幻想など。
Okay, I know he's kind of the worst, but I love him.
I know. Everyone does. That's the thing. He's like kind of the worst person ever, but you love the absolute dog shit out of him. Sorry, I remember when I said he was in Grand Order and he was 2 classes? Mm-hmm. That's correct. Mm-hmm. He has 2 archer versions. Yeah, he has a caster version, but he also has 2 archer versions.
So, also, simultaneously, remember how I said I don't necessarily ship him with Saber for personality reasons? I take that back.
Never mind.
She can fix him.
she can be she can be the angel to her Buffy.
No. The Spike to her Buffy.
No, Angel.
No, Angel's just a dick. You'd have to say she's the Buffy to his Angelus. And Angelus is an unrepentant monster, which, yes, I suppose makes the comparison more valid.
I know.
But no, because if we're also implying that she can fix him, it has to be Spike to Buffy. Because Buffy couldn't fucking fix Angelus. Angelus literally had to be recursed with a soul before he could even show a single hint of fucking remorse. And don't you start a Buffy fight with me, you will lose every goddamn time.
Except where I say Michelle Trachtenberg's dead, so end of Buffy fight. Rest in peace, Michelle Trachtenberg. Also, yeah, the caster version of Gil is also way more chill and isn't literally the worst person you know. Caskill is kind of chill, actually. Caskill is basically just Gil from the point in his life when everything hadn't gone wrong yet. And he was, like, still kind of just ruling Samaria or Mesopotamia as just kind of generally a cool dude. Still kind of a holier-than-thou attitude to him because, you know, Gilgamesh. But, look at that guy. Look at that dude.
I like his fun little inverse veil at the back of his head.
Yeah. Caskill's a cool dude. And then there's, I guess, actually, his second Archer version is probably the chillest of all three. So there's his second Archer version.
That's just wrong.
It's just child version.
No, incorrect. Get rid of it.
He also
burn it to the ground.
He also shows up a bunch in Prisma Ilia. The Ilia Magical Girl show with the lollies kissing. Oh,
also,
yeah.
you're being corrected.
Yeah, it's after the whole Enkidu situation. Right.
Oh, no. He did show me Child Gil. That's why I was upset.
Yeah. I showed her Kogil.
That's why I got upset. Why are they saying dejected silence?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Kid Gil is also chill. It's just really Archer adult Gil that's a complete dickbag. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, he's calling her pathetic. That's right.
No, he's calling human power pathetic. His laughter rises so high it seems to soar up into the heavens. This must be hilarious to him. He's just smiling to himself, not even paying Saber any mind now that she's fallen. And can't get up.
You know what's funny? Because my brain's now back on Buffy. Because why would my brain get off of the Buffy subject? Is when I was listening to a podcast on my way home from work a night last week, that had been talking about like the reaction that the other Buffy castmates had to Michelle's death. One of them had been talking about the reaction Sanders actor had, and my first thought when they were saying that was, wait, didn't he die? And then I went, no, he's just in prison for being an absolutely goddamn awful human being.
Is he?
Yeah, he might not still be, but he was for a while.
Was he?
Pretty sure.
I feel like I don't remember this being a thing. Hold on.
Or at the very least, like, he was arrested for something, like a drunken there was something, and I want to say it was assault, but I could be confusing him with another deranged actor, but...
Yeah, Nicholas Schultz, Nicholas Brendan. Early life, career. Multiple arrests and convictions on a variety of charges since 2010.
Okay, so I'm definitely remembering him being arrested for shit and convicted. And for whatever reason, my brain kept trying to fill in, like, my brain was trying to remember, like, he'd been in jail and, like, gotten shanked in, but that might just be me taking out my aggressive dislike for the character of Xander Harris on the actor. So
In March 2010, he was tased and arrested by LA police, who confronted him in response to a call about an intoxicated individual.
that could be what I'm remembering.
Allegedly swung fists at the officers and attempted to run away, and was arrested for felony vandalism. Then later charged with 4 misdemeanors, including 1 count of resisting arrest, 2 counts of battery against a police officer, and 1 count of vandalism. Then he went to rehab in 2010 to address his addiction to alcohol and sleeping pills. Then, while participating in Tree City Comic Con in 2014, he was arrested in a hotel lobby for misdemeanor charges of malicious injury to property and resisting or obstructing officers. Then, in Fort Lauderdale in 2015, he was arrested on suspicion of grand theft after reportedly trashing his hotel room and refusing to pay the bill. Then he was arrested again in 2015 for destroying another hotel room after demanding an upgrade. And then he was arrested again in 2015 for strangling his girlfriend in a hotel room. Was charged with felony third-degree robbery, criminal mischief, and obstruction of breathing. And then he was arrested for assaulting another girlfriend at a hotel bar in 2017. Charged with felony corporal injury to a spouse in 2019. Then in 2020, he was sentenced to 3 years probation and 20 hours of community service as part of a plea deal for that previous thing. And then he was arrested in 2021 for failure to identify and obtaining a prescription by fraud. So, you know, he's had some problems. Then, sorry, sorry, that shouldn't be funny. He also apparently has some kind of legitimate, like, spinal issue. And then in 2021, after he got arrested, he suffered from paralysis in his legs and genitals. That's why I was laughing.
No, that's funny.
Help, my dick is paralyzed. 2 months later, he underwent another spinal surgery, during which his spinal cord was punctured, resulting in a cerebrospinal fluid leak, and then had a heart attack in 2022 and was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect.
Maybe that's what I'm remembering, like half remembering, is that he'd had a heart attack and my brain just filled in that he'd died.
No, he's very much not dead.
Well, I mean, I figured that out when, you know, my podcast was talking about the fact that he'd reacted to Michelle Trachtenberg's death. I kind of figured he wasn't tweeting from beyond the grave, but...
Could have done.
Okay.
Saber.
She doesn't answer. Blood spurts from her mouth as she tries to gasp.
You know I'm supposed to be, like, using my brain's critical thinky powers to make sense of this game and the universe, but my mind is literally just on Buffy now. I'm due for a series rewatch again. But the first season is so cringy.
Oh, first season is great.
No, I mean, the story-wise and
We
writing,
still have
sure,
Purcell
but,
and the Master, and it's great. I love it.
But here's the
and do you have
problem.
that episode with the Mantis lady that they set up the comeback, like they set up the return for, and never paid that off?
Yeah.
And then you have Jenny.
Yeah, but all of the really bad CGI and prostheses.
No, it was great. That's what's so good about it.
No, it's really very painful to watch.
No, it's
Every
great.
time I go back. And then there's that awful, like, kiss between Angel and Buffy at the end of the season where, like, the cross from around her neck and gets burned onto his chest. And that's just dumb. And it's something that like the Angel Buffy shippers are all constantly like, oh, it's so romantic. No,
cute.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it was cute.
Obviously, in case chat hasn't figured it out yet, I have some very strong feelings about the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I have some very, very strong feelings about that show.
The world goes red.
You absolutely should watch Buffy. Just know when you do watch it that Angel's kind of low-key the worst.
Angel is kind of low-key the best.
He is not.
No, he's great.
Make no mistake. David Boreanaz, who plays Angel, I love.
See, I don't really care for him, but I liked Angel quite a lot.
Like, I rewatch Bones specifically to see him play Agent Booth. Like,
Agent Booth?
Agent Booth. FBI agent and distant descendant of John Wilkes Booth, not that he ever brings that up. In fact, the only times it gets brought up are by people in arguments against him. But irrelevant. He's excellent in that role. And I've seen him in other shows, love him in other shows. Hate the crap out of Angel.
No, Angel is like probably one of the better vampires throughout the course of the series.
Well, that's not saying much. There aren't a ton to like.
There's Drusilla, who is also a great character.
You mean Drusilla?
Yeah. Loved her. Great character.
Drusilla's excellent. Nuts. Excellent.
Crazy. Batshit insane. Great.
And for the record, Drusilla's not in season 1. She's in season 2 when Spike comes in.
Also, the Master, another great character. Absolutely fantastic.
Disagree. I'm not crazy. Like, as a villain, he's actually one of my favorite Buffy villains.
That's what I mean, right? Like, his character is great.
But I think he's not always as well written as I'd like him to be.
We've got nobody to blame for that except,
Joss
Whedon. Yeah, exactly. What was I doing?
Yeah, so here's the thing, Fungi. I'm not crazy about the first season. And there are a lot of episodes that I would skip if I were pleasure watching the show instead of just binge watching the whole thing. But the episodes that hit hard. Hush is amazing.
Hush is great.
As I recall, Hush has won like not Academy Awards, but like one of the EGOT awards was given to Hush. Once More with Feeling.
That was not in season 1.
No.
Neither was Hush, for that matter. But
well, my argument is that season 1's bad. But Once More with Feeling is genuinely the episode of TV we need to blame for all of the one-off musical episodes and TV shows.
Although I don't think it was the best example of it. I think Scrubs' musical episode is
shut your mouth.
Probably the single best musical episode of a TV show ever.
Buffy still did it first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying Scrubs did it better.
I haven't seen the musical episode of Scrubs in Scrubs' defense, but you take that back. They got the mustard out song was entirely necessary and delightful.
Yeah, Scrubs has one called Everything Comes Down to Poo.
No thanks. Sounds disgusting. But it doesn't have the bunnies section, the bunnies coda.
No, but it does have Guy Love.
The bunnies coda of I've Got a Feeling.
And the guest star for that episode was the original actress who played Kate Monster in the original Broadway production of Avenue Q. And most of the music was written by the Avenue Q writers.
Okay, I will concede there may be some merit there.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
And I've got a feeling now stuck in my head. No, get out. This is really not helping me focus.
Just remember that episode where nobody talked the entire time. It was
Hush
great.
is-
Hush is
a
a masterpiece.
masterclass.
It really is.
Because everything in that was just them acting their pants off because they weren't allowed to speak
Like,
for most of the episode.
There's like 9 lines of dialogue in that entire episode. The entire episode is just atmospheric sound, like no fucking dialogue. And it's probably one of the ballsiest episodes of television that has ever been made because nobody fucking talks.
And there haven't been many other shows that have tried to do that since. And
Well,
certainly
no, because
not,
it's fucking mental.
yeah, and certainly not any that have half the recognition in the few that do. Like, Hush is genuinely, there are college film classes and cinematography classes that literally dedicate days in the syllabus to analysis of Hush.
I mean, there's entire college courses that are just Buffy studies.
Well, yes. But yeah, if there's any episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I would recommend as just one-off watches if you're not fans of the series. I'd recommend Once More with Feeling if you're looking for something lighthearted. And which is weird when you consider that the big reveal about Buffy getting literally ripped out of heaven when they resurrected her is in Once More with Feeling. But I'd also recommend Hush just because it's really, really an excellent episode. You know, if I were still doing recap comics, this would definitely have been a recap comic. I mean, if you wrote recap things for Inu to read, it would literally just read Willow goes off on a 20-30 minute tangent on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
It's okay, Bio. We'll give you more work eventually, just not now. I knew this would happen. I knew Saber couldn't win against Gilgamesh, so why didn't I try to stop her, even if I had to use a command spell?
しかし味気ない。完全にこちらの圧勝か。相殺することもできぬとは拍子抜けだぞセイバー。ああそうか。少しは手加減してやるべきだった。何しろ相手はこんな子供だったのだ。
She can fix him.
Absolutely!
His smug voice is grating.
Look, there are obviously better versions of Gilgamesh. Could I just ship her with them instead? Yes. But
Yeah, shipping her with Kid Gil is definitely the correct
no. But she can fix him.
decision. This is my fault.
Shishiro and Gil standing around Artoria, literally dead on the ground behind them. With neither of them giving a shit because they were too busy talking about this new show Shiro saw recently. It would still be relatively new at the time, like some of the later seasons, mind you, but Buffy was still coming out and like was the last episode of Buffy was pre-2000. No, post-2004, wasn't it?
The last episode of Buffy aired when I was in high school.
When did the first episode of Buffy air? To Google! When did the first episode of March 10th, 1997. So I was correctly remembering that I was very young when Buffy released for the first season.
Yeah, Buffy ran through, I mean, it's saying 2003 here.
That sounds about right, because 7 seasons.
But I distinctly remember the last episode of it coming out while I was in high school. Because I remember a friend of mine talking about it and how he was like super sad that it was over.
Well, to be fair, you graduated high school in 2008.
Right, which means I started high school in 2004.
Right, which means that if the last episode
It was in 2003.
Well, maybe Nicolina just didn't get around to seeing the last.
Yeah, that's what
episode
I'm
until a little
what I'm
later.
wondering now, because
Or maybe he was talking about an episode of Angel. Because Angel's first season started in 1999. And I think ran for 5 or 6 seasons as well.
Angel ended in 2004.
So maybe that's what he was talking about,
But I feel like this
categorized it
was
as-
in like our junior year, is the thing.
I can't help you there.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't
Unless he
make
was
any
talking about
sense.
comics.
Maybe, possibly. I don't know.
Because those are still coming out. Although Buffy Summers isn't the Slayer anymore.
So you said 1997, but Buffy actually started in 1992.
With the movie, yeah.
Yeah. Which is sort of kind of canon, because they do gently reference it at the start of the Buffy series.
Well, yeah, because the reason that they moved to... Oh god.
Fake fan! Fake fan!
Sunnydale?
There you go. Fake fan.
Well, my brain was trying to fill in Sunnyville, and I'm like, that's not right. My brain, fix this, please.
This fake fan over here.
Was genuinely that the reason she moved there was because they were escaping after and starting over after she burned down her school. Anyway, we should probably continue.
Sorry, you're the one that keeps talking about Buffy. I thought she could win. As bad a feeling as I had about this, I was sure Excalibur would win.
Very few things derail my brain more than Buffy does. Buffy and Dragon Age, that's pretty much it. Those are guaranteed derails.
But look out, she's got a knife.
Funny you should mention that, actually, because look at what my phone recommended as other things to look at when you're looking for the starting date of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, Angel.
It was Angel and Charmed were the 2 other things it suggested I might be interested in.
Charmed was great.
Charmed was excellent. Original Charmed.
Original Charmed.
The
At
reboot is
least
a hot
through the
mess.
end of like what, season 2 or 3 or 4?
So Prue
whatever.
died at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Season 4 is where Paige came
Yeah.
in.
So it was good through the end of season 3. Then like Paige had there was a few good episodes
So-
after Paige happened.
So
but, like,
hear me out.
No. Paige was bad. I don't want to hear it.
Paige wasn't my favorite character, but where it went downhill for me was when they killed off Cole.
Which time? Because Cole died like 8 separate times.
Okay, yes, because they liked bringing Cole back because fans liked Cole. But after they killed him as the Source in the apartment, well, Phoebe was still pregnant with Demon Baby.
It definitely became. The time it went downhill was after fucking. After, come on, brain. Come on, you can get there. It's been a while since
Right.
Well, after he showed up, but after Leo became an elder.
Yeah, well,
That's when everything went to hell.
yeah. Although Leo becoming an elder was part of one of my was a key plot point behind one of my favorite episodes, where all 3 of the sisters were briefly grief goddesses. That episode was hilarious. That entire thing came about from a direct result of Leo being an elder and Piper not wanting to give back her powers because she was pissed. Wait.
And I've proven my point that I was trying to prove. I may have told her to stop, but my command spell didn't react. I obviously wasn't serious. If I'd been serious about protecting her, I could have used a command spell to make her escape, even if it was just her, and there would have at least been options for me to fight on my own.
さてではいただくとするか。汚れてしまった。何いずれ同じ目に遭うのだ。 ここで傷つこうと問題はあるまいよ。
His voice draws closer. Saber must have come too. I see her eyes open.
セイバー、無事か。
I can see her breathing. Yet I'm still far enough away that I can't reach her. She lays still, but I can't run to her. All I can do is call out to her.
セイバー、セイバー、セイバー。
Saber's mouth opens.
What?
She expels blood from it again. She breathes in as if to ask for help, but even that is painful enough to send her into a coughing fit. Better than a wheezing fit. Unless it's top hat wheezing, in which case...
シロ、そこにいるのですか？
I can't see. I've gone blind. Her voice is weak, and the question makes clear she can't see me.
待ってろ、すぐに。
Oh yeah, just another reminder. Shiro is presently suffering from nearly getting cut in half again. I can't very well say I'll help.
And yet he can still speak better than Saber, so... better than Saber, an actual servant. Well, listen. If there's one thing we've learned over the course of this playthrough, it's that he's tremendously lucid while dying.
And very durable. I'm on the ground too, and can only move one arm. I can't even offer words of encouragement. At least she can't see me in this pathetic state.
Yeah, because she's blind because she's bleeding out, you bastard!
Yeah, but at least she can't see Shiro bleeding out.
ああ、そうか。負けたのですね。
Yep, you got deleted. She tilts her head toward me, her eyes lifeless.
申し訳ありません。どうかあなただけでも逃げてください。マスター。
Saber coughs up blood. Anger seizes me, and I see red. I'd been relying on Saber, and this is the result. I took one hit, and I can't even get up. I grab my head with the one hand that still works. I could just about kill myself.
Please, put us all out of our misery.
I have every intention of crushing my head, and so pour all the strength I can into my hand. The switch fails. Instead of using my finger, I imagine a hammer to press the switch to change myself into a mage.
二度と使わないようにね。投影はあんたの手に余るから。
I hear Tosaka's voice. She said that trying to do magecraft beyond your abilities will destroy the caster's nerves and magic circuits. So what? Saber's more important than any of that. If I can't protect her, I don't need my head anyway. She saved me so many times. I've never cared about someone the way I care about her. So, if I can't protect her, I'm better off dead. I hear the pounding of iron. The shattered bones of my body are being reinforced by magical energy. There's no holding back. I throw my switch open wide, ignoring my own limits, and generate as much magical energy as I can. My spine ignites and my entire body grows red hot. My brain feels like it's melting and I bite my tongue to endure it. My teeth sink into the fleshy muscle.
Could you bite it off? That would be great, because then I wouldn't have to hear you talk.
If I have to bite a hole in my tongue to remain conscious, so be it.
何？
The footsteps stop. Gilgamesh's amused laughter stops with them.
シロ、 何をしているのです。ダメだ。そんなことをしたら体が。
She must sense something, even without being able to see. Saber screams as she tries desperately to push herself up. Something in me snaps. I stand up. My body tries to ignore my orders, but it begins to move with the help of the surge of magical energy I pour into it. It's like being set on fire and instinctively running toward water in hopes of surviving. I don't care. It's better than seeing Saber like that. Alright. With my mind very nearly burning up, I finally realize, from the beginning, I vowed to wield my sword because I didn't want her to get hurt.
逃げてと言っているのに、どうして。
I stopped the enemy from approaching. Saber's behind me on the ground. This is it. There's no way I can retreat now.
ドレス。
I restrain my panicking, burning body and focus my will. I need to imagine one simple thing. I divide the projection into 8 sections and replicate the lost sword. There's something solid in my left hand. I don't even have to look. My second attempt at manufacturing the sword succeeds.
私の剣。いえ、それでもダメだ。シロも分かっているはずです。それでは彼には勝てないと。
Oh, so you can see again, can you?
動けるのなら、今は逃げるのが。
逃げない。セイバーを迎えに来たんだ。なのに一人で帰ることなんてできるもんか。
I ready the sword. I hold it in both hands, so much heavier than the bamboo sword, and glare at Gilgamesh.
やめてシロ。この男はそんな。
I ignore Saber's words and take a step forward. There's about 4 meters between us. If I rush at him with all my might, maybe I can cut him down. He doesn't move. Gil watches me for a moment and then laughs.
殺すか。
His voice is utterly devoid of emotion. I instinctively block the attack that comes my way. I dodge the surprise attack by swaying sideways. Too slow.
Let's see. Does Willow know who Goldie is? And did she guess it right? Yes, they said Goldie's true name, and that depends. Like, I speculated, but I speculated off literally nothing more than names I've heard Inu, Sarge, and L cursing and staring at their phone playing EFGO at dinner tables over the years. So I don't really think that one counts in my win category.
If the first attack is a sudden gust, the barrage of attacks that follows is like a storm. Blocking is all I can do. Actually, I wouldn't have even been able to block the first attack on my own. Fortunately, when I reproduced the sword, I also reproduced its memory. A sword that's been in so many battles gains a will of its own after all that experience. This sword must have already mastered this particular dance. I can't follow Gil's attacks, but the sword seems to be able to. Before I move my arm, the sword's already reacting to Gil's attacks. I let the sword guide me and manage to parry his fierce attack. It doesn't last long. Every time I swing the sword, my fingers go numb, and I find myself gradually lagging more and more behind the sword's guidance.
雑種見苦しいにも程がある
Gilgamesh must not be able to tolerate even the slightest bit of resistance from me. He glares hatefully at me as he backs up just the slightest bit. I'm saved. If he'd kept attacking, I wouldn't have lasted another second. I try to catch my breath. And then...
薄汚い偽物めそれほどそれが気に入ったのならば本物を見せてやろう
He draws a sword. It looks familiar. The decorations are different, though. The thought that went into making that sword, as well as its soul, are too similar to this sword.
まさかこの剣の原型
そうだが宝具としての精度は比べるまでもないぞお前が持つ王を選定する岩に刺さった剣は北欧に伝わる支配を与える木に刺さった剣が流れたものだがこれはその原型王を選定するという聖剣の大元だ
He's saying he's holding the original model for the sword in the Tree of Supremacy. The Norse hero Sigmund's demonic sword Graham?
子は親には勝てん天輪を続けるごとに劣化する複製は原型にはかなわぬということだ
Light blares from the blade. And the sword understands perfectly that this is the same attack which killed Berserker in a single strike. It must be protecting its owner. The sword in my hand moves toward the enemy's sword more fiercely, more powerfully than ever before. The noble phantasm is called Caliburn, the golden sword of assured victory. But it shatters instantly in the face of Merodach, the original sin. I hear something sliding along the ground. It's my arm. Yeah, Gil does not like people making knockoffs of his shit. Yeah. He really doesn't like Shiro and, by extension, Archer. It's a faint rustling sound.
I do love the notion that he hates people copying his shit since everything's his shit.
Yeah. Is the park's ground slippery? I roll across the ground like a bit of trash in the wind before finally coming to a stop.
Shiro!
Hi, Saber! Just give me a second. I just need to get my bearings and then I'm gonna...
Oh, also it did give us a new weapon update.
It did give us a weapon update. Graham. Yeah, that's the one. The magic sword of the sun, Graham. In the something saga.
Wilsungai Saga.
Yeah, Graham was a magic sword of glory and destruction that belonged to Sigurd. Sigmund.
Sigurd.
It should be. Yeah, okay. It should be Sigurd. They said Sigmund earlier, which is what threw me off. The greatest Norse hero. And Sigurd, as a reminder, is basically the same legend as Siegfried. So, it's also the prototype of Caliburn from the Legend of King Arthur. Just as Caliburn was the sword of appointment stuck in a stone, Graham was a sword of appointment stuck in King
Volsung's
tree. Legend of the magical sword, Graham and its owner Sigurd, is marked by glory and destruction worthy of a hero's name. Later compiled in medieval Germany, Der King des Nibelungen, is that what that says?
Better than my guess would have been.
Is that like what it reads?
But that is more or less what it reads, yes.
Is a
Knightly
tale equally significant to the legends of King Arthur. In this version, Graham appears under a different name, Balmung. It's the strongest magic sword, comparable to the strongest sacred sword, and it even has dragon-slaying properties. One could consider this the natural counter to the famed King of Knights. Hey there, Sabo. Why is everything upside backward? And why is my arm over there? Don't worry, Saber. I'm just gonna take a second to recover, and then I'm gonna kick Gil's God in the ass. What? Balmung is the way cooler name, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. Although, when I was reading it alongside Inu, in my head I did read Balmung as Balrog.
Yes, the Balrog. You don't even read Tolkien. Get out of here. You don't even read Tolkien.
No, but that doesn't mean I don't still recognize iconic names from Tolkien literature. Why do you think I refer to all the spiders outside your house in the summer as Shelob? But yeah, fake nerd hasn't even read Lord of the Rings. Although I'd like to think I've at least heard some of it because it was your bedtime story growing up, and I did kind of low-key eavesdrop on your story time with Dad as a child. So...
なんだ、セイバー。割と近くに。
Oh, hi, Saber. I'm relieved to see that she's not dead. I thought I'd been blown away, but it doesn't matter since Saber's here. And then, as long as I can stand up, I can run to her.
Good luck with that.
I glance at my arm. It's red. My arm is covered in some sort of sticky red membrane, but there's no blood coming from it.
動くな。もういい。いいから動かないでくれ。シロ。
Saber shouts, reads me as I lay there, staring at my arm.
Did I at least see the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Nope.
No, she did not.
I watched none of the movies, engaged with none of the Prime Video series.
One of these days, Willow. One of these days. I'm gonna actually, order the 4K Blu-rays of the extended editions of the movies.
You will literally have to hold me hostage. I will do literally anything in my power to avoid it.
Listen, each of those is only 4 hours long.
You will literally have to hold me hostage or it's not happening.
I can do that. That can be arranged.
Oh, Chad's disappointed. Listen, I anytime people tell me that, they're like, we have to take your nerd card away now.
That's true. Your nerd card must be claimed.
Fine, but you can't take my geek card for me having not read Lord of the Rings. You can just take my nerd card.
No, but we can put a heavy sanction on your geek card because, so much of D&D is inspired by Tolkien that, you're basically not allowed to be a fan of D&D unless you understand Tolkien, so...
Except now Chad's blaming you. Listen, guys. What you have to understand is I'd mentioned at dinner one night, just offhandedly, the fact that there's debate in the D&D community as to what Baylors should look like because of whether or not the Balrog actually had wings.
The Balrog did have wings. It's in the book.
And literally, Inu and my dad got into an argument about it to the extent that my dad ran upstairs to get his copy of the book.
Only just to prove that I was right.
He still disagrees with you.
He read the passage. There are wings. He doesn't have a choice but to agree with me. Because
The shadow of wings does not constitute necessarily that there are wings.
it literally what it says.
And like I said, this was then a debate at dinner. So
I may not have the Blu-rays, but I do have the DVDs. And those are just the standard editions. Those aren't the extended ones. So, you know. At least it would only be 3 hours each.
But yeah, like, so I grew up around Tolkien's work, so my argument for not having read it is I understand enough about it from having just osmosed it in from being around Inu and my dad. Our dad. It's not like we have different dads. It's the same dad.
I don't know how I had that one, like, figure precariously, like, standing earlier, but now it doesn't want to stay standing up anymore. It's unfortunate. It looks like my torso is what's hurt. And your arm, apparently. That single attack, I'm pretty sure Gil's sword is what sent me flying. But that at least explains why I'm injured. No wonder Saber's so upset. It appears playing a card game has caused me to become severely injured. The only thing I can move is my right hand. My left hand doesn't move. I'm not even sure what happened to my left hand.
I'm assuming it's gone. It just doesn't exist anymore.
I can't even breathe. A diagonal slash covers my torso, starting at my left shoulder. The slash runs all the way through my body, separating parts of me like mismatched building blocks. I look like a ginkgo leaf.
Great? Question mark?
Yeah, hold on. What means ginkgo leaf? Sure. Can you figure it out from that, Google? Ginkgo biloba possible benefits and risks. No, I just want pictures. Ginkgo leaf. Tree? Ginkgo leaf. I don't care about the tree, just want the leaf. Show me.
Well, the internet disagrees with you. It doesn't want to show you.
That's apparently a ginkgo leaf.
How does one look like that as a human?
I'm not sure, but Shiro has managed it somehow.
I don't understand.
I've been cut open from shoulder to hip.
Okay, great. That still doesn't make you look like a ginkgo leaf. You need to explain this to me, Shiro.
It's actually creepy I'm still alive right now. I don't think this miraculous survival is gonna last long.
Long enough for me to narrate.
I'm conscious right now, but my vision has already started to narrow. Besides, even a tiny movement will send all my organs tumbling out of my torso. Maybe I really am dead. My consciousness or my ghost or something is just hanging around, watching what's unfolding.
I mean, that explains a lot,
Spooky!
actually. That explains a lot, Shiro.
Oh, wait, no. I genuinely do get the comparison Shiro's using. That actually makes sense. Does it? I'm not sure it does. But, okay. You say so.
you're just gonna have to send me an image or an explanation later, Bio, because my mental picture isn't to use a phrase that my students use all the time when they're trying to make sense of homework. The math isn't mathing in my brain. I'm trying to figure out how human looks like a ginkgo leaf.
I thought you were going to say something about skippity trowels or whatever.
Ugh. It's somehow worse when you do it.
なんだ、見事に散らばったと思ったが存外にしぶといのだな。なるほど、生き汚さだけが雑種の取り柄というわけか。
He laughs. I'm grateful for it, honestly. The more horribly grating that laughter is, the harder my consciousness fights to cling to my physical body.
だがそこまでだ。貴様に獅子は似合わん。その女は俺がもらう。
Where's the button or option to say accept it? Accept it, move on, die in peace. I'd like that button, please, game.
More footsteps. This time, he's going to take Saber for sure. Well, here's your option. Save the game.
Perfect! I know exactly which one I want to pick. Him.
Ah, you've chosen life. No, not really. The laughter draws near.
No, I've chosen the correct ending of the game. I feel like this is me choosing the correct ending.
As soon as I try pushing myself up, lightning courses through my spine. Oh no, it's playing the sad music.
I don't know why it's playing the sad music. I couldn't be happier about this. A character I like is murdering the crap out of a character I've hated the entire game. Why are you playing the sad music?
The pain screams through every fiber of my being that I can't fight anymore. You do realize exactly what Gil's going to do to Artoria, right? Like, he's genuinely going to sexually assault her after this?
I do, but also I really just fucking hate Shiro.
And Artoria, apparently.
And at least Gilgamesh is written as an interesting character. I hate everything about Shiro Emiya. He pisses me off royally.
Poor Archer.
And Archer was fine.
But he's Shiro Emiya.
Yes, but somehow he's the version I don't detest. But that guy, I detest. So him getting the murdered the fuck out of him by a character I actually enjoy the writing for. And it could just be that the game's done dirty, and by us having Shiro's perspective, I've also just seen how completely idiotic his thought process is 98% of the time. But no, I do not like Shiro at all. So
UBW will fix that.
So him getting killed by a character I actually like, I'm fine with, guys.
UBW will fix that. I can't get up. Even if I could, I'm too much of a mess. I can't beat him. And in that moment of realization, my body, so hell-bent on survival, finally gives up.
Yay! We did it! Oh, whoops.
The power that had been protecting me all this time fades. My thoughts slow. My mind winds down to nothing, as does my life. Dead end.
Note, it says dead end, not bad end.
Right, yes, actually died.
I finally got Shiro killed! Do I have to do the Tiger Dojo? They're just gonna tell me not to make the choice that I fully supported making in the first place.
Nope, gotta do Tiger Dojo. It's more Ilya time.
That is true. It is Ilya time. Okay, worth it.
$203 chain. Marvelous!
白のおバカカンターレ信じられないであります。まさかこのタイガー道場にやってくるヘビーゲーマーがいるなんて。っていうか、こんなとこに来ちゃダメなんだから。早くあの金ピカをやっつけて、セイバーをちゃんと守ってあげないと怒っちゃうんだから。
Yeah, Ilya's gonna be sad otherwise.
それでいいのか、ブルマ。あ、チース先輩。まあ、本当は悔しいけど、ここまで来たらちゃんとかっこいいとこ見せてほしいかなって、そんなとこです。さあ、道場はここでおしまい。早く選択肢に戻ってパパーっと決着つけちゃいなさい、シロ。
If you want Shiro to show off how cool he is, Ilya, you're gonna have to, like, wait until next route. Shiro's kind of a lameoid, this route. But UBW is cool
I mean,
as
I
hell.
guess if I have to. Fine.
I like the option of get up. This man has been cut in half.
Yeah, objectively, what I just clicked should be the correct ending of the game. Like, feelings about wanting to see the hero prevail notwithstanding.
Quick, Shiro, glue yourself back
Like-
together by sheer willpower.
Like, tragedies in writing exist for a reason, because every now and then you need to see the hero lose. Because the reality of life is that not everything's always sunshine and rainbows, and sometimes no matter how hard you try, things just don't work out.
My god, you need to watch fucking Violet Evergarden so bad.
So, you know, like, I love a good tragedy. Like, in terms of my literary preferences, genuinely, it's no wonder that, as fond as I am about Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, because of being in a production of it in high school, the fact that it's well written, it's witty, and the Beatrice Benedict relationship is very, very much like my style of flirting personified in a play. But Romeo and Juliet, for as much as I think both of them were goddamn morons, remains my favorite Shakespeare.
Nah, The Tempest, man.
The Tempest is
I'm
excellent.
a big fan of The Tempest.
And Macbeth is pretty solid too.
I prefer Macbeth with lions.
No, that's Hamlet.
Oh, right. Well, Macbeth with lions would be great too.
Macbeth with lions would actually be great. I would love to see how they, write the witches as lions, but
Well, they could be like,
anthropomorphized lions.
or like, hunters with like guns or something,
But
Man.
I love Romeo and Juliet because, yeah, sometimes you need a story to end with
A magic tree.
no. No.
But that's the ending to Romeo and Juliet.
No, that's the ending to Romeo and
Suddenly
Juliet.
there's a magic tree. And then everybody lives.
No, Romeo and Juliet still die.
Yeah, but everybody else lived.
Yeah, pretty much. That's true. But listen, I loved Romeo x Juliet as an adaptation. If
Right
you
up until
disregard
the
the last
tree.
3 to 4 episodes.
Yep, right up until the magic tree. That's when it went really downhill. Anime version of The Tempest, though? Could we have an anime version of The Tempest?
That would be pretty cool.
I'm
But
up-
but what random Christian spiritual would they make the opening theme to that?
How about like, what about like,
Days of Elijah.
Ave Maria?
There is an anime for Romeo and Juliet. It's called Romeo x Juliet, and it's excellent if you disregard the last few episodes.
Yeah, Romeo x Juliet is an anime.
It's
It-
excellent. It's
ju-
genuinely wonderful.
It just suddenly a magic tree happens and things go really sideways in like the last 2-3 episodes. It's yeah.
Yeah. If you just disregard the last few episodes, Romeo x Juliet is excellent.
And for some reason, they just took You Raise Me Up and made it Japanese and used that as the opening theme.
And it's gorgeous.
It is. It's fantastic. But I don't know why they felt the need to do that.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why that was the choice for that story.
Right. It doesn't really have any correlation to Romeo and Juliet in any way. So it really threw me off the first. I heard it, I'm like, wait, isn't that just You Raise Me Up, but in Japanese? And then I looked up the literal translation of lyrics and went, yes, that's
Yeah,
just
that's literally
You Raise Me Up, but translated to Japanese.
How does this relate to the plot of this?
Why though?
Like, yeah.
Like, I'm not complaining, but why though?
Oh, we had another Willow tangent causing the screen to go black moment.
Romeo and Juliet service? Wait, that's Rama. Well, just Rama, though. Citra's still not in the game. I pour all the strength I have left into my one good arm, by which you mean literally just your right hand, because it's the only thing you can move right now. I try to grip the ground with my sticky, slippery arm, and lever myself upright, even as I'm on the verge of literally splitting apart. No, we're not gonna voice the... For a brief second, I see Saber's face. She's on the brink of tears. Or tears. In that moment, I'm proud to know falling in love with her wasn't a mistake.
But you're...
まだ終わっていない
That's the thing that gets to me, is... I don't think he's actually in love with her. He's in love with the idea of what he thinks she should be. Because every time she tells him no, he disregards it.
Right, so he's in love with her in a medieval sense. You know, the sense of disregard wife, acquire children. I force myself up. Neither of my legs work. And yet somehow I stand. The magical energy that barely kept my body moving is gone. All that remains is my faint heartbeat and the throbbing of my organs trying desperately to continue functioning. And also attempting to flee the cavity in my chest.
ほう、未練か。だろうな。あれはお前には過ぎた宝だ。その気持ちはわからんでもない。ならばこそ他の男の手に奪われるのは悔しかろう。
Falling in love wasn't a mistake. Literally dying right now. Yeah. Too far. He goes too far. I can't listen to another second of his shit.
だから奪うとか奪われるとか
That's how I talk about her, asshole.
ものみたいに
Don't you be me. Don't you be me, but cooler than me.
I have no issue with him being Shiro, but cooler than Shiro.
I pour what energy I can into my right arm. It feels like it's made of lead. My body creaks in protest, but begins to obey. I push myself up to one knee.
言うこと
I take a deep breath, trying to focus what strength I have left. Every time I move, I feel my organs shifting around as if with minds of their own.
なぜもう無理だとどうしてわからないのです。
Saber sounds like she's denouncing me. She's far away. In the distance, I can see her staring at me, sad and forlorn. But you see, Saber, Shiro has developed this spooky thing called courage, which, as we know, is the magic that turns dreams into reality. And therefore...
You hurt my brain. You really hurt my brain. Thank you, chat.
And therefore,
Thank
long
you,
as Shiro
chat.
can
No,
dream
I'm with chat on this
defeating
one.
Gilgamesh,
No.
he
Stop.
can turn it into
Stop
reality.
right there. I'm with chat. Chat sides with me.
Courage is the magic that turns dreams into reality, guys. I push everything from my mind to focus on making my body move. Saber's voice is just a distraction. Gil's laughter, the pathetic state my body's in, none of that's my biggest obstacle right now. Right now, it's Saber. Saber is my biggest problem right this second. Hearing her say that, seeing her looking like that, it's almost enough to make me give up.
You should.
Finally, I feel life flood into my knees. Now all I have to do is get to my feet.
いらない。あなたの助けなどいりません。敗北した以上、私はすでにあなたの剣ではないんです。このまま消えるのがサーバントとして当然の結末ではないですか。
Apparently, I'm Fate UVW abridged to Ream, whatever that means.
100% maximum no chill. It's Saber's voice. Damn. If you keep saying that, if you keep making this even harder, I'll get mad. Even at you.
Because you don't...
I'm gonna get wild.
ただやめてくださいシロ。それ以上はダメだ。本当に死んでしまう。こんなことであなたに死なれたら私は。
I can't keep listening to this. She has no idea how I feel.
うるさい。いいから少しは黙ってろ。こういう時くらい頼っていいんだよ。お前は。
I'm sure I'm about to get called out for the fact that I aesthetically ship, and in the low-key she can fix him ship, Saber and Gil. However, this is really why I don't like the two of them as, like, Shiro and Artoria as a pair.
Yeah, but Saber can fix him.
Neither... No, she can't. He's too much of a dumbass. They don't listen to each other. There's absolutely zero regard for what the other one says. Like, it frustrates me. Because neither of them have any sense of self-preservation. The only thing, like... It frustrates me. Because, to an extent, I do support the notion of, you know, love in its purest form being putting someone else before yourself. However...
For Shiro so loved the world that he gave his entire life to protect literally everyone standing in front of him.
No. We're stopping that. But the thing is that you also shouldn't so quickly be willing to throw your own life away. And it just...
See, the problem is both of them have survivor's guilt.
Sure.
And have no concern for their own safety.
But...
as a result.
Like,
They're just too similar, is the problem.
Yes. And because of that, neither one of them balances the other out in any capacity.
It's why everyone ships Shiro Rin. Except for Nasu, who keeps insisting that Shiro Saber is canon, and then keeps writing more Shiro Rin shit instead.
And
it's really quite comical.
I see relationships like this one in media, I hate them with every fiber of my being because they're just so toxically disruptive and toxically destructive. Like, there's... And it just... Like, there's a reason opposites in fiction narratively work together so well. I hate it. And the fact that this entire route builds them up like there's some amazing love story. No, they're Romeo and Juliet on super steroids. In that they're literally just gonna keep pushing themselves till both of them fucking end up dead. And, well, that can be an interesting story. The writing in this is also not stellar. It's certainly no Shakespeare.
No, he's not a servant yet.
And it just upsets me. Fungi, you are assuming that I managed to talk myself into doing this a second time. After how truly frustrating I've found a lot of this game. Because I'd remind you guys, Inu did not make me do this. I did this to myself.
Yep, this was 100% on her.
And whether or not I choose to subject myself to this again is really in question.
私の身などどうでもいい。そんなものよりあなたは自身の命を第一にするべきだ。
She's pleading with me. Knowing that I'm responsible for the agonized sound of her voice makes me want to give up right now. But I'm too stubborn for that shit.
断れ。俺にはセイバー以上に欲しいものなんてない。
I can't allow myself to give in to her plea. Saber gapes at me. I'm not sure why, but I remember something. She once told me I was a fool who didn't know the value of my own life. I think she's right. For someone who can't help themselves to try to help someone else is a little presumptuous. They're really only doing it for their own happiness, while the person they're meant to be helping may not be half so pleased. Someone's first priority should be themselves. The people who think like that are the ones who can be truly happy, and so they can share that happiness with other people as well.
俺は確かに自分の命を感情に入れてない大バカだ。
I've been wrong about the most important thing in my life. From that day, the place in my heart where whatever is most important to me should have been was empty. But I'm grateful for that abnormality. Because now, that empty space is filled with the person I truly want to save.
けどな、セイバー。もし俺が自分の命が一番大事だったとしても変わらない。きっとそれ以上にセイバーは綺麗なんだ。お前に変わるものなんて俺の中には一つもない。
See, I think that's part of why I so vehemently dislike, at the very least, this route. Is his mindset is so warped, so spectacularly unhealthy. Because I would remind all of you, social worker. And no one challenges him on it. If anything, you're right. The route vindicates his mindset. It's so spectacularly toxic and unhealthy. And it just, like, there should be more pushback against him.
And then I realize it wasn't that I was sympathetic towards her. The girl in my dreams, that girl who fought and died alone, who I felt was never rewarded for all she did, I was in awe of her. I thought she was beautiful beyond words. The vivid image of her taking her sword and charging into battle, never looking back, was awe-inspiring.
そうだ。だから。
That's why I need to protect you, Saber. You were alone your entire life, so I have to make sure you're not swallowed up by the darkness in your last moments. Yep, once this is all over, on the verge of your death, I hope you can go into your eternal slumber proud of what you did with your life. No more hesitation. My objective is clear.
ごめんな。俺、セイバーが一番好きだ。だから、 んな奴にお前は渡さない。
I regret the apology as soon as I give it. But I wanted to tell her. I wanted to tell her that now, of all times, because the words come straight from my heart. I sense her gasping, and also physically hear it with my ears. I want to turn around to see her face, but no. I really can't see anymore anyway. I stand up. As long as my heart's still beating, I can keep fighting. Magical energy is life. As long as it flows through me, I can create as many swords for her as she needs.
よく立った。で、
Also, I can see
その
again.
後は何があるの？
Yay! Vision! I feel a scorching heat in my right hand. Here, on the brink of death, I'm reminded of what happened 10 years ago. Fire and death! Yay! It's a terrible illusion. I feel just like I did when I was in the fire, reaching a hand out and hoping to be saved.
うせろ。お前にセイバーは任せられない。
I say that as I raise my right hand.
たわけ。誰が貴様の許しを得るか。
Gilgamesh raises his sword.
伏せろしろ
I hear Saber far behind me. I ignore her and use my remaining magical energy to project the sword once more. Shiro, just look out. Caliburn, and presumably by extension Graham stroke Balmung, is known for lasering people in the penis. It's literally its attack animation in Grand Order. It's just like every time it lands on a servant, it's in the crotch. A vortex of light rushes at me. It's not as strong as Excalibur, but it still burns away anything it touches. When the heat scorches my body, I don't think about my death. I think about Saber, somewhere behind me. This'll kill her as well as me. I at least need to protect her then. I said it's what I'd do. It's what I've always wanted to do. She's strong, but at the same time could break at any moment. She needs me. I mean, in this exact moment, yes, she does sort of need you to come up with something so that she's not, you know, sexually assaulted. But, like, she's like a drawn sword. So to make sure she doesn't get hurt, I'll sheath her. And then, before I realize what's going on, there's a sword in my right hand. I'm not sure who said that, but there's a brief hesitation. At the same moment, the invincible knight in gold takes a step backward.
しろそれを
Saber takes my hand. Saber somehow stood up. The vortex of light fades. Saber's right beside me. Before me is Gilgamesh, eyes open and bleeding. I don't know what happened, but I realize it's just like the Berserker battle. Saber's using whatever I made, and it destroyed Gilgamesh's Gram. Two titanic beams of light collide before one overwhelms the other, and we manage to truly wound the man who, until now, had been completely unscathed. He radiates murderous intent. It is terrifying. In spite of that ferocious, murderous rage, the Golden Knight leaves without a word. But there's no time to be surprised. I have no idea why he just left. But even as I feel myself slipping into unconsciousness, I know the battle's over. My knees buckle. The tension that kept me upright fades and I collapse.
シロ
Saber hurries forward and catches me. While I slip down onto my rear, supported by Saber, I look over my body. I can't help but cry out. My body is torn to pieces. I should have been killed the instant Gilgamesh laid me open from shoulder to hip. My healing power must be what got me clinging to life, but even that has its limits. I'm practically split in two. I can't possibly recover from this. I'm not even sure if I'm breathing, and everything is starting to go dark. My end is near. The only good thing to come from this is that Saber is okay. My wounds are fatal, but it looks like Saber was just exhausted. She's disarmed, and her wounds are already healed. Even if I end up having to drop out of the war, I'm sure Tosaka can take care of the rest. I hear that sound again. The sound of creaking bones is coming from me. Curious, I look down at my wounds. I see myriad swords. Or I see what looks like tons of tiny blades converging, layering atop each other, trying to knit together my broken body. I feel faint. It looks like every muscle and bone in my body is made from swords. The next moment, they're gone. My body looks normal, and what I thought I saw a moment ago seems to have only been an illusion. As proof of that, my ruined flesh begins fusing together. My wounds close right before my eyes. It's more like restoration rather than healing. Looking at it, I feel a surge of disgust rather than fascination.
Oh, you're disgusted you're alive too.
Looks like I'm gonna make it.
Boo!
But this is just too...
よかった。この分なら死ぬことはなさそうですね、マスター。
I hear Saber's voice at my ear. She's, really close?
いや、それは助かるけど。俺の体、一体。
I want to ask what's going on with my body, but I'm suddenly overcome with dizziness.
That's tough. I'm gonna have to get up in a couple minutes anyway.
And then, my body is enveloped in a soft embrace.
No game. She shouldn't have that outfit.
And also, like, look how badly both of them are bleeding.
いいえ、私には分かりました。
So,
傷が癒されるのは当然です。
the thing that is very easy to misunderstand about the clothing situation. What broke the clothes that one time was the forced summoning via command spell. Like, Shiro teleported her from place A to place B via command spell, and in the same kind of instant, forced her into her armor, which destroyed the clothing. If she just materializes her armor herself, intentionally, it's fine. She can revert back and forth. So that's good. Also, Jiro is like literally passing out, it would seem. I produced too much magical energy. My worn out mind just wants sleep now. I don't know how strong it is, but Saber moves closer and wraps her arms around me. She embraces me tight.
やっと気づいた。シローは私の鞘だったのですね。
Her words penetrate deep into my tired mind. Isn't it usually the lady that's the sheath in this
That is
relationship?
what my mind was thinking about, yeah.
Shiro's the girl in this relationship, clearly. That sensation is so comforting, and the last of my remaining consciousness fades away. I finally realize I'm safe, and so I yield my body to sleep. Before sleep takes me, I find myself thinking, with a little foolish sadness, that this scene would be better if our positions were reversed. Like, physically, it just makes more sense for her to be the sheath than... Oh, I'm unconscious. Two down. That was the save from last time. And so the first confrontation with Gil has come to an end. But that's also like the entirety of day 15, is literally just resolving the war. So we're more or less at the end of day 14. We've got this one last scene for day 14, I think. And then we have a choice point immediately on day 15 that leads to death. And then a bunch of scenes. And then the Tiger Dojo that I'll need to figure out how many Saber points we have somehow. Where I need to make sure we have a save with more than 5, or 5 or more, and a save with... No, a save with more than 5 and a save with 5 or less. So that we can get both.
No, you need to make sure we have a save with with more than 5. I'm sure we have less than 5.
I think it's very
points.
likely that we have less than 5,
I
yes.
think I've earned the saber points according to you exactly once.
It might have been twice. But then we get a... Oh god, that is this route, isn't it? Then we get a scene that is quite possibly going to make you very angry, because it made me very angry. Then there's a series of choice points that all basically lead to the same dead end and one path to victory. So we're getting close. I would guess, barring any like huge sidebar tangents.
So, you or anybody else mentioning Dragon Age or Buffy.
Or Charmed.
Or Charmed.
I would guess we can probably be through this by the end of March. Probably. Seems likely to me. So, that means once we do get, like, into the final stretch, I'm gonna have to enact the engage plan. and start to actually
yeah, source things.
start to actually source what our team is going to be for it.
Saline. I'm pressing the saline button
You-
very hard.
You only get to do that if you actually reply to the thing once it's up. So, better do that. Because, well, I mean, you and I will backfill anything that, like, if we don't have enough or whatever, we'll backfill it, but...
Although I could, for the meme, pick Ivy because my cat.
I do know, like, when we brought that up before, Bio was, like, very insistent that Bio was not going to pick one because he doesn't know any of the characters. So, I've already figured out what character is Bio's because there is exactly one character that Bio already knows.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to fish them out of a chest, but... You know. That's the one that's being assigned to Bio. Yes, you know exactly one character, because they've been with us through every Fire Emblem. Every Fire Emblem we've played, they've been in. So, you're getting a character assigned to you because it's the only one that you actually know already. So, you know. Sorry.
It's gonna be a pain.
Sorry, bud. You don't get a choice. I offered you a choice. You refused it. So you're just being assigned one. Anyway, yeah, that's coming down the line. So.
I suppose I should probably finish my first playthrough of Engage and stop fucking around in the Xenologues.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We may or may not need to do the Xenologues depending on what people pick and whether or not we want those emblems or not.
Yeah, I gotta start fucking around in the stop fucking around in the Xenologues and actually finish the plot. I'm not that far from ending it, I don't think, because I looked at the final chapter count once, and I'm not that far away from it. I just have been too busy doing other things and trying to just stall for time to max out all the units I plan on taking, and
maxing them out is really not necessary. Oh, by the way, just putting this out there, we are not playing that game on anything above normal when we do it for stream because I don't want to spend a bajillion hours grinding. Like, I played the game through on hard on my first playthrough and it's fine, but I had to do a lot of grinding to, like, kind of keep up, and I just don't want to do that shit on stream, so we're just gonna play it on a slightly lower difficulty where I'm not gonna have to do immeasurable amounts of grinding in order to keep pace, is the idea. Like, I'd like to just be able to do essentially the story chapters and the paralogs and the xenologues and stuff and not have to, like, grind the random shit.
see,
Unless we really, really want to, like, gather some resources to, like, I don't know, upgrade weapons or some shit like that.
that's the difference between the two of us. I like grinding for shit.
So do I, but I don't want to, like, spend weeks at a time doing that on stream in favor of progression, right?
And that's the main reason why I haven't finished Engage yet, is because I've been having too much fun fucking around. And...
I mean, just look at my original save file. My original save file is fucking stacked because I spent way too long grinding. But yeah, I don't want to be in that situation on stream, so we're just gonna run it at a lower difficulty so we don't have to. I mean, we can if we want to, but, like, I don't want to be required to, is sort of the thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because it can be, like, if you elect for it to be, it can be a very grindy game, which I love, right? For me, I love doing that shit. Like, I love just sitting there and getting to build units and be really, like, stupid about shit. But I don't want to do that, like, for no reason on stream, right? I don't want to be in a situation like we were in with Three Houses, where we're sitting there trying to force a glitch to give us infinity time so that we can grind stats and just reset a month like 1,000 times in a row.
That was actually fun to do.
It was, but like, I don't want to have to be in that situation. It sucked that we kind of had to do that at one point, right? Like that we felt like we had to abuse that.
Thank you, Kyle.
Yes, it was funny, but I want to do it. I want to do that kind of stuff because it's funny and not because I feel compelled to do it. That's the difference, right? Right? If we're doing it because it's funny and because it's stupid, that's one thing. If we're doing it because we kind of have to, because part 2 was bullshit and all of our scaling just didn't work anymore in part 2, that's where it's really frustrating, right? Because we were fucking stomping the end of part 1, right? We were just obliterating the end of part 1. And then we got to part 2 and it's just like, none of your units do anything anymore.
I mean, in all fairness, that was originally part of the design intent in Three Houses, was you were supposed to come back after the time skip and kind of be humbled because you're no longer students, you're out in the real world fighting a war. You as Byleth have missed years. Well, the world around you's kind of kept moving on, and, you know, you're not as tough as you once were because of it. Narratively, it serves a purpose.
Yeah, but gameplay-wise, it kind of, like, the enemies being on par to where they were actually, like, to where it was a challenge, but your units weren't just gonna die, that I'm fine with. The issue we ran into was as soon as we got to part 2, everything, like, two-shot our entire team. Like, if anyone got attacked by an enemy on enemy phase, they just immediately died.
And Bio does make a valid point, which is that by the time we did actually do the month looping, we'd already more than caught back up with the difficulty curve and had largely started crushing skulls in again.
Only and fair, but only because we got an inordinate number of Viscums. The only reason part 2 became not a miserable slog was because we got infinity Viscums and gave them to everybody.
But again, to my point, that's narratively that's fitting and kind of interesting, and that's why it didn't really bother me so much in Three Houses on my first playthrough, because the writer side of me went, narratively, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. We've been in the bottom of a ravine in temporal stasis for several years. Like, yeah, it makes a bit of sense that we're a little rusty. Like,
yeah, but at that point we'd also, like, I don't know, fused with a god.
who wasn't being helpful in explaining to us how to do the things.
So, you know, anyway, yeah, we're just, fair warning, we're not gonna be, I'm not gonna be running, like, Engage the way I ran Three Houses. Three Houses I ran that way because it was my first playthrough and I wanted to just do it properly. And that's absolutely how I would have played that on first playthrough. Would have been dump it on hard and see what happened. Engage I already did on hard, and I just don't want to be forced to grind. So.
Alright, that said, I gotta go.
Yes.
One, because I need the rest, because my body needs to heal, but also because I've got an early start to tomorrow, because I was supposed to write an agenda for the team meeting tomorrow, and just didn't. So I've got to do that before the team meeting starts tomorrow.
Well, good for you. Yeah, we'll let you get to that. So, till next week, everyone.
Catch you later.